Gnostics teach that salvation isn't about faith, but achieving anamnesis, the Greek word for unforgetting or remembrance, which means remembering your true origin as a divine spark that fell from the pleroma into material existence. And this remembrance isn't intellectual knowledge, but direct experiential recognition that shatters the amnesia the archons impose to keep you trapped in ignorance, thinking that you're just a body when you're actually a fragment of God who forgot itself. This is anamnesis, and understanding why Gnostics focused on remembering rather than faith reveals that spiritual awakening is recovering what you already know at the deepest level, that the fall into matter caused cosmic amnesia, and that gnosis is the shock of remembering who you were before you were born. So let's start with that cosmic amnesia. Gnostic cosmology teaches that divine sparks fell from the pleroma, the realm of fullness, into the material world created by the demiurge, but the fall caused amnesia. You forgot your divine origin and became convinced that you're just a mortal body born to die. The archons maintain this amnesia deliberately. They want you ignorant because awake souls can escape their control. They use distraction, identification with body and ego, and false religious teaching to keep you forgetting. The entire material system exists to prevent anamnesis. The gospel of truth says, quote, "Ignorance of the Father brought about anguish and terror. Ignorance became dense like a fog, so no one could see." This fog is amnesia. You can't see your origin because forgetting obscures it. So how does remembering happen? Gnostic texts describe the call, a divine messenger descending into matter and speaking a word that triggers remembrance. In Hymn of the Pearl, the prince in Egypt receives a letter from his father the king, and reading it, he suddenly remembers that he's royalty who came to retrieve a pearl and got lost in Egypt forgetting his mission. The call can be a teaching, a vision, or a moment of recognition. Anything that breaks through amnesia. Jesus in Gnostic text doesn't save through his death, but through bringing gnosis that triggers anamnesis. His words remind you what you may have forgot. The Gospel of Philip says, quote, "Ignorance is a slave, knowledge is freedom," end quote. But knowledge here is anamnesis, remembering your true nature. You don't learn something new, you recognize something ancient that was always true but obscured. So what does it really feel like to remember? When anamnesis occurs, it's immediate and total, not gradual learning, but sudden remembrance. The Gnostic texts describe it as waking from sleep or sobering from drunkenness or even emerging from a dream. One moment you've identified with the material self, and the next you remember that you are divine light temporarily experiencing limitation. The thunder perfect mind has the divine feminine say, quote, "I am knowledge and ignorance, I am shame and boldness," end quote. Paradoxes that shatter normal consciousness and trigger anamnesis through recognizing that the divine contains all opposites beyond the archons, ether, or traps. Valentinian Gnostics taught that Christ's resurrection was the cosmic trigger for universal anamnesis. His escape from matter and return to the pleroma opened the pathway for all divine sparks to remember and follow. Anamnesis means salvation is recovery and not acquisition. You don't become divine, you remember you always were. This shifts spiritual practice from earning grace to removing obstacles to recognition. And now you know that